Hello there, people of the internet. How's everyone doing today? I'm doing alright, thanks for asking. Today's comfort drink for our discussion is actually a mixed drink. I'm sitting here sipping on some brandy. I got some soda to go along with it. Uh, yeah. I'm actually having a pretty good night. Tonight's been fun. So, hope you guys are having a good night as well. Go ahead and grab yourself some sort of comfort drink to go along with it, whether or not it's coffee, tea, alcoholic beverage. Maybe it's just a glass of water if you're freaking weird. Uh, you know, I've seen weirder than someone drinking a glass of water for comfort. Uh, Gatorade, soda, whatever floats your boat. Grab yourself something, make yourself comfortable. Sit down, strap in, because we're gonna have a little discussion today. But before that, whew, ooh, yes, absolutely. Welcome to pretty much the only gun channel that also offers life advice. Because guns are about more than just guns. They're about the people pulling the triggers as well. Okay, do you ever have just so many drinks that you get to the point to where you don't really realize how strong you're making them, and that just makes it worse? Have I ever showed you guys this, by the way? I got this cup right here. It's got a, by my measuring, 8mm Mauser Full Metal Jacket bullet just kind of pressed into the side right there. It's really nifty. This is my drinking cup that I normally get wrecked with. Okay, so in today's discussion, I actually wasn't sure if I was going to make this video. As a matter of fact, at the time of recording, I'm not even sure if I'm going to stick it up, but I feel like it's a valuable lesson, so I'm probably just going to bite the bullet, very literally. Watch me go. I literally bit a bullet on this freaking episode here. I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet, save the embarrassment, and just pretty much dive right in to today's discussion. In today's segment, I'd like to really push, like significantly push, the value that having a role model can bring. Never ever underestimate how incredible it is to have a role model. Now, whenever it comes to having a role model, you don't have to like every little detail about this person, and you don't have to necessarily agree with everything this person wants to do. You don't have to be just like them. You don't have to even have the same points of view as these people. But having just someone to look up to can be the most life-changing experience that you can have, because it's someone else's perspective versus just your own. You don't have to put yourself into their shoes, and they don't have to try and put themselves into your shoes. Now, I am my own person. I am not my role models. I am me, and I have several role models. I have quite a few that we're not going to discuss, but I have a few that we're probably going to discuss. One of the ones we're going to discuss is one that is very, very popular nowadays. This is actually why I chose to talk about this specific role model, because it's, universal. A lot of people have found help through him, and a lot of people know about him. He's very, very popular on the internet, and that guy is Markiplier. Now, like I said, I have several role models. Markiplier definitely is not the only one, but he's more than likely the most popular of the bunch, and that's why I'm going to tell you guys about why I think he is a good role model. In some aspects, there are some things that I don't necessarily agree with or would want to be like, but it is what it is. Now, originally, I just kind of watched him for entertainment purposes. He does have a lot of he's not necessarily a gaming channel, but he plays a lot of games and puts it up on his channel. And I'd sit back, it was, good background noise and good funny stuff to watch whenever you're, drinking. It's entertaining from time to time. It gets a little repetitive sometimes, but it is entertaining. But after I was investing myself into like really binge watching some of his gaming stuff, I started to look more into some of his personal videos and other things he's created. Now, I wasn't really ready with what I was going to find there, because I found something that legitimately changed my life. It completely turned me around, and that is the story behind his botched surgery. Now, I'm not going to give the full story. If you'd like to know more about, the entirety of the story, I'm sure that you can find it somewhere on the internet. It's very, very popular. He's a very popular man, and it's a very popular story. But pretty much, he had abdominal surgery. For some reason, I think he had to get a tumor removed. But he had abdominal surgery, and due to a prescription error, he ended up being taken off pain medication. Now, I'm not entirely sure what you guys have been through, but I've been in pretty significant pain, like pretty horrendous pain, and I've been not on pain medication. And I can tell you right now that it is worse than death. It genuinely is, especially whenever that pain involves incisions that basically cut down into your organs. Being without pain medication in such a situation is not a fun experience. But he spent basically a full 24 hours without these pain meds in, what I could imagine is the most horrendous pain a human can go through. Being at the level of pain of almost falling unconscious constantly for a full day, I've been there, and it is not a good experience. But even after his horrendous experience with that, and it was entirely the hospital's fault. They're the one who botched his prescription and put him through this horrific ordeal. That right there is not what got to me. What got to me was his reaction towards the ordeal. Pretty much everyone else that I know, and myself included, would have sued the hell out of that hospital. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would have rained absolute hell down on everyone in that hospital, and I would have walked away with everyone's paycheck for the next 10 years. I would have personally seen, well, not me currently, me back then, I would have personally seen that the people responsible would never work in the medical field again. But he didn't sue. And for a while there, I was confused as to why he didn't sue. But he made it clear as to why he didn't sue. And it took me a little while to find, that video and find his story behind it. But once I did, it genuinely made a life-changing experience. Whenever he was going through the ordeal, he saw himself at rock bottom. He saw that he was physically in the worst possible place that he could be in his life, or at least up to that current point in time. He saw that where he was, it could not get any worse. And having been not necessarily in that situation, but in a pretty similar situation, I can tell you right now that it doesn't get much worse than that. Like, it really does not. But he did not sue them, because while he was sitting there at rock bottom, he did not want to build himself back up based off of hate, pain, and revenge. That right there was what got to me. His reasoning behind why he didn't sue. He didn't want to recreate himself basically based off of vengeance. Whenever I watched this, it was late at night one night, and I tell you what, I was not prepared for what I had witnessed. Because I spent a whole lot of years in a very, very dark place. And I was in that very, very dark place because I was chasing revenge. I was building myself off of hate and pain. I was in a tough spot for a long time. All All because of my desire to seek revenge over nothing. I was seeking revenge for something I did to myself. But it was his desire to not seek revenge, and the fact that he very well could have and chose not to. He didn't want to be that kind of person, and that was the kind of person that I was. And since I was that kind of person, I completely understood why he didn't want to be that type of person. And that right there is why that story connected with me so well, because he chose not to be what I was at the time. And I completely understood why, because I was just so so dark back then, in so much pain all the time. And his decision to not be what I was is what made me rethink what I was and what I wanted to be. It took a lot of soul searching back then, and it took a lot of swallowing my pride. But his story was exactly what I needed. Now I'll never be able to meet the guy. I've never even, I've never met the guy. I've only seen him on the internet. But regardless of that, I am thankful, because his story, it genuinely did turn me around. And it made me into a much happier person than I used to be. Now, like I said, he is only one of the role models on a list. A lot of them I'm not going to meet because, several of them are dead, unfortunately. But a few of them have been dead for a couple hundred years now that I think about it. But I've got several role models, just, people that have impacted me in different ways that have really hit home. And Markiplier was one of those people, and he legitimately helped me get myself out of one of the darkest ruts I have ever endured. Now, it is alright to have more than one role model, and like I said, you don't have to like every aspect about them. You don't have to want to be just like them. Just don't underestimate the importance of having someone to look up to, or someone to at least get some advice from. Very, very helpful, very, very important. Anyway, I'm going to, actually, I'm probably gonna break out some vodka next, because this bottle here is nearly gone. So, I'm gonna finish this, then I'm gonna finish that, then I'm gonna go off and do whatever the hell else I decide to do, so thanks for watching, guys. Tell me about your role models. If you have none, tell me why, maybe. If you have a very specific one that you decide to fully invest yourself into, tell me about that. If you have several like I do, tell me about them, etc., etc. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, anything you want to tell me, pretty much, comment it down below. Alright, well, I actually had a pretty good time making this video. It's always nice to make a video about something that you genuinely appreciate, because it puts you in a good mood. And the alcohol does help with that as well. Anyway, I'm going to go off and enjoy the rest of my day. You guys go off and do the exact same thing. If you're having a tough day, you're the only one who can change that. If someone else is making your day better, try to make their day better. Make it a complete cycle.